This episode of Horror Movie Talk is brought to you by Now That's What I Call Moonsick. The wait is over. 18 chart-topping hits dedicated to the moon, all in one collection, sung by the hosts of Horror Movie Talk.
When the moon hits your eye with like a big pizza pie.
You get nothing but the biggest hits.
Giant steps are what you take walking on the moon.
The moon songs you crave from artists you love.
It's a marvelous night for a moon dance.
Moon River.
Mega hits from Frank Sinatra, Elvis, Van Morrison, and 13 other artists covered by Max and Sydney.
Fly me to the moon. Let me dance among the stars.
Get into the groove. Get into Now That's What I Call Moonsick. Call 1-800-MOON now to get yours on CD or cassette.
Is this a metal thing? Yes. Little taste.
David, what is this?
It's pretty thick.
Great.
I have to kill a lot of people. Just tell me what you want me to fuck.
I have big tits and a tiny vagina.
Oil me up, Daddy.
I can't believe that Bryce prefers big tits. Mistletoe alert. This is backcountry.
This guy was a real jerk.
How long can Hugo be pregnant?
Chomp, 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 chomp.
Oh, you're such a dick, David.
Okay, everybody, put on your corpse handling gloves.
Ew.
Hoodie Picasso. Horror.
Bryce.
Ah!
Oh, it's a peach fuzz.
Oh my- Hello? I thought you were dying.
Is he talking?
I don't know.
Hello! And welcome to Horror Movie Talk. We are the ones who live. Can you understand me?
Yeah.
We are the ones who live. I'm Grimy Bryce Hanson, and this is Max. Good God.
Good job.
This is Max, the boy wonder, and
Hello.
Sydney, the girl. Every week we review a single horror movie. New theatrical releases always get priority, but we also review older horror movies, both good and horrible. This is not going how I planned, if I'm being honest.
It's beautiful and gorgeous and amazing.
What's wrong with it?
I completely forgot to do the overlay of Now That's What I Call Moonsick. That's just sad. We might have to re-record that one.
What? I thought you did the music.
I thought it worked good.
I know, but it didn't have the image on it.
Oh, it's all right.
Maybe I can add it in
People
post.
got it. You said Now That's What I Call Moonsick.
I know.
Bryce, we
Anyways,
all love your bit.
well,
We
now
love
you
it.
can
You're
see
so
it
funny.
anyways.
Yeah.
All right. We review a single movie every week. New theatrical releases always get priority, but we also review older horror movies, both good and horrible. Make sure you rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. Full video available on YouTube. Don't be a square. Be sure to share. Also check out patreon.com/horror movie talk, the equivalent of the adult section in your video rental store. If you want to add your P to the community pool, call 682-253-4468 and leave a voicemail, or just go to horrormovietalk.com and find all the links to all the things.
Or become a patron and then you can watch us live, like a
Yeah.
few people are doing right now. Hello,
Like
everyone.
5 people are doing right now.
Hell
Today
yeah.
we're testing out some new technology. We're going to try to do some call-ins, and so we've got some patrons watching live right now. It's something that we might be able to do with the general audience in the future, but we're testing it out right now, so we'll see how that goes. First, we're going to start off by giving a brief review and a score for the movie. We score on a scale of 1 to 10. After we give our score, we'll get into spoilers and take a deeper dive into what we liked and hated about the film. Today, we are reviewing the iconic An American Werewolf in London. After we get through our review, we're going to be doing our new bit, Horror Movie Chat Lines, where listeners like you can call in and ask us questions, and we'll figure out how to do it. And, you know, I almost wonder if we should just do it as like relationship advice. Like, I think that's where the meat is.
Yeah, I think we'll be so good at that.
But we didn't advertise it as relationship advice. What if they want to know about our favorite horror movie?
It doesn't matter. They can ask that too. We'll see. We'll see what works, what doesn't.
I am a certified love doctor. I'll just throw that out there.
Ew.
Gross. All right. Wow, I can't hear myself at all.
I can hear you so good.
Okay, An American Werewolf in London can be found free with ads on Roku, Tubi, Flex, and Freevee. Two American tourists, David and Jack, are hiking through Europe when they are attacked by a giant wolf in the northern moorlands of Britain. A month later, during the full moon, David turns into a werewolf, but not an ordinary British werewolf. This one is louder, friendlier, individualistic, and more confident than British werewolves. It wreaks havoc on London, biting and slashing through town while being openly patriotic. An American Werewolf in London is a classic 80s horror movie that stands the test of time. Director John Landis brings the humor he is known for from Animal House and Blues Brothers and combines it with the horror that he brought to behind the scenes of The Twilight Zone, the movie. The cast of... I hope I'm not the only one that gets that. The cast of relative unknowns, David Naughton and Griffin Dunn, bring a convincing casualness as college friends and really sell the humor. The real star of the show is Rick Baker's practical effects, and the werewolf transformation stands as the gold standard of metamorphoses on camera. While the film does have humor, I would describe it more as casual, which is a great contrast to the gory violence and disturbing dreamy jump cuts that pop out at you throughout. The film isn't too ambitious and keeps the plot to a basic monster movie. There's a monster, it attacks people. Reminiscent of the old Universal horror movies, but it's spiced up with the quirky 80s flavor of dialogue and weird non sequiturs throughout. I really found it enjoyable. I think this is the first time I've watched it from beginning to end. I've seen the metamorphosis. I've seen it from the midway point, half a dozen times probably, but I haven't watched it from the very beginning. And it was really enjoyable, and I see why it works long term. And yeah, the practical effects are amazing, and still is probably the best transformation scene on film. But it's wrapped in kind of like a fun, kind of easy breezy movie that you're engaged with the characters and everyone's pretty likable, while keeping you on your toes from just random, out of the blue scenes and lines from the cast. So I give it a 10 out of 10. I loved it.
Yeah, I thought this was very surprising how good it was for me, because I've obviously heard of this movie. I've never seen it before last night, but I don't know. I was like, okay, a werewolf movie. I'm not super into werewolves as a genre of horror. I've never found them very compelling. And after you watch Twilight, you're like, what the fuck? But I was pleasantly surprised by this film. I absolutely loved every second of it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was so refreshing, and then checking that it came out in 1981, I was like, this stands. This holds up. This is very enjoyable. Practical effects will always have a special place in my heart, and this is right up there with the practical effects of Nightmare on Elm Street, the original one. It was truly incredible, and I loved every second of it. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, and that's just because I broke my tooth while watching it. And that kind of ruined my experience just a little bit. And also I showed Max before, but this is how much of my tooth comparison for my finger.
Ooh.
Yeah. It was a filling, but it's like feels like half my tooth is gone because it was a filling in between my teeth. So, yeah, they obviously had to shave down my tooth for that. So yeah, in the middle of this movie, I had to pause it and call my dentist, and I'm getting in on Monday, guys. So it's gonna be fine.
Wait, so you were flossing while watching An American Werewolf in London?
The floss, you know those little floss picks things?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I like just ate dinner when I first started watching it, and I got food stuck in my teeth. So I like grabbed a floss pick from the bathroom. And why is that weird?
It's weird to Max, but Max is weird. So, I mean, I wouldn't take it too seriously.
Okay. Well, that was just straight up rude. But no, I just don't floss that much, I guess. I floss
I
like
don't
every
either.
few days.
That's the
at
whole thing.
night.
It's like my dentist is always like, you need to floss more. And then I fucking floss and my tooth falls out. So it's like, I don't like, should I be flossing more, or should you put the filling in correctly? Like, I don't know. But I mean, whatever. She was very responsive and it was fine. But with all that said, this movie was incredible. When I paused it at one point to like go to the bathroom or something, and there was only like 20 minutes left, and I would have taken another full hour of this movie when there was 20 minutes left. Like, I was like, that is really crazy that we're almost done with this, because I would have kept watching it. I would have just watched it all night. It was great. 9 out of 10.
Well, first of all, Bryce, what's with the shade? What the heck, man? You're calling me weird right at the beginning of the episode?
I'm constantly throwing you shade after you tried to guilt me into feeling bad about watching the movie late. So,
well, now it's like you're trying to prove something, because you're like, wow, take this, Max. I watched the movie the day of, or the morning of. Like, you don't have to prove anything to me. It's just, I just find it odd is all.
To everyone listening, Max likes to watch the movies like 3 or 4 days in advance.
I watched the movie on Wednesday. I'm not a psychopath.
I watched it last night and finished it at 10:30 p.m. And I don't know. Bryce, when did you watch it?
Same, except in my time zone.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It was fine. And look at this beautiful episode that I produced for you.
I love your episode.
It is great.
No,
right.
Max, you're not weird.
Okay.
It's fine. You're a good boy.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate you saying that, because I'm very insecure and I crave validation from you. So,
We love you.
So what did you think about the movie?
Loved it. I thought it was great. I've been kind of avoiding this movie because I don't really like werewolves. I think that they're boring and weird, and I feel like the transformation is never what you picture in your mind. But I thought they did a great job. I was having fun the whole time. The characters just felt really real and relatable, and the friendship, especially at the beginning, was really interesting to me. I love the idea of your best friend coming back from the dead to tell you to kill yourself. I think that's hilarious. So I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 as well.
Yeah.
Yay. We all loved it.
Yeah, it was great. So is this all of our first times watching it?
Yeah.
I think so.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's rare.
That's the expertise and background you get with horror movie talk. Fresh perspective from people that are supposed to be authorities. We're not. It's okay. I gotta say, Sydney. So yeah, we were chatting over text while Sydney was experiencing her dental emergency. And
apparently,
I'll tell you,
it's not an emergency when you just lose a filling. If I was bleeding from the mouth nonstop, that would have been an emergency. But no, it wasn't really an emergency.
It just really hurts to do anything with that tooth for the time being.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Like when I was getting ready for bed and brushing my teeth, there was like a bit of food stuck in between my teeth, and I was like, I should probably floss, and then I was like, no, I'm not gonna chance it.
I don't think
Floss is
I'm
the
ever gonna
silent
floss
killer.
again. Like I literally don't think I'm going to pick up a floss pick. And like these floss picks I got were from the dollar store. So like they are the strongest fucking floss picks ever. I did not expect that. I just like picked them up last time I was there. And
It's just braided steel flossers.
I was like, what the fuck? Like yeah. So don't floss, everyone. That's my advice. Don't floss if you have fillings. Because they just come out. Apparently,
9 out of 10 doctors hate horror movie talk. Or dentists. 9 out of 10 dentists.
9 out of 10 dentists do not recommend horror movie talk.
I do
One
commend
of
my
them's pretty
dentist
cool.
for calling me back at 9 p.m. on our Friday night. Like that was really big of her. Shout out to
That's,
my doctor.
that's a good dentist. Yeah, drop her a line. Advertise your dentist by name.
Give away where I live.
If you're in the Boston area,
What is her name? I always forget her name because I just started going to her. So, Dr. Rad. Dr. Rad. Love her.
Dr. Rad?
Yeah.
That's
does she
awesome.
Does she wear 80s sunglasses and ride a skateboard?
I mean, she's pretty young, so maybe.
That's awesome.
I
All right,
want to
well,
quickly
let's,
point out that I didn't have time to go grab an energy drink this morning, so I'm drinking pre-workout. I figured it would be a good science experiment to show Bryce what the itchiness does to a man. I'm
There are
already
bugs in your
starting
skin.
to
There are bugs in your
feel
skin. There are bugs in your
very
skin.
itchy. Anyways, that's all I had to say. Go on.
See, I've got the McDonald's Diet Coke.
Oh,
From
delicious.
breakfast this
I love it.
They do it right. All right. Now on to everyone's favorite part of the episode, the mid-roll. If you're listening to commercials, if you heard any commercials at the beginning or right before I'm talking right now, you should know that you don't have to. Join us on Patreon. More importantly, not just missing commercials, but you support us. If you want to support Horror Movie Talk, there's not a better way to do it than give us a couple ducats every month. It really does help out. It's like allows us to do a lot of cool things, like pay for Chat GPT and use DALL-E to create. Now that's what I call moonsick graphics. So anyways, in addition to that, we've got our shop, horrormovietalk.com/shop. I think I'm going to post these limited edition Lisa Frankenstein holographic stickers.
Aren't they fucking
They're
sick,
awesome.
guys?
There's only 50 of them, and I have to actually manually mail them out if we sell them. So
Can I have one?
they're limited edition. Yes, you can. They're $5.
I can buy it.
$7 shipping and handling. No, I'll figure out how much I charge. No, I'll mail you one, Sydney. I'll
Thank
mail
you.
you and Max a couple.
I think $5 for a limited edition sticker is
Right.
that's fine. It's a
Exactly.
cool sticker. It's not just like a regular sticker. It's holographic.
Yeah, and we'll throw a buck of that to our resident artist Dustin Goebel, who came up with this and other fantastic designs.
We love him.
You can catch him on Instagram at dgoebel00. That's at DGOEBEL00. Contact him. He does commissions. Tell him HMT sent you. If you want to call and leave us a voicemail, call 682-253-4468. Thanks again for listening. Let's get into spoilers. I'm getting really self-conscious about my breathing on. I've gotten so many comments about Bryce. It sounds like you're dying while you're breathing, and I hear it when I hear the recording, and I don't hear it while I'm on the recording. So
I think I'm
apologize.
desensitized to it. Honestly, I don't even notice it anymore.
You know, I'm a large man. I need a lot of oxygen. I'm sorry. It happens. I'll be like the viral guy, and I turn my head to breathe. Okay. All right.
I love your breathing. It means you're alive.
Thanks, Max.
Aw.
All right. Well, let's jump into the movie. Yeah, one
So
of the
good.
notable things is the soundtrack so heavily leans into the moon related hits. That's
It's
why
awesome. It's fucking like amazing. I wish they did Werewolves in London though.
yeah,
A really missed opportunity.
he didn't do that one. I think there was a couple that he wanted to do. There was a Cat Stevens song about the moon that Cat Stevens didn't want him to use in the film because it was violent, and he had converted to Islam and started going by his new name.
Yeah, the needle drop of Bad Moon Rising like made me so excited. Like I was watching the Super Bowl. Like I was like,
Yeah.
let's go. I was like, fucking awesome.
So it starts out with Blue Moon, and then there's actually 3 versions of Blue Moon used throughout this movie. They really lean into that. I love, like, the more I watch movies, the more I love little things like how quickly the introduction of the main characters was in this movie.
Yeah.
It's just 2 guys, they get out of a chicken truck and they just turn to each other and go, David? Jack?
Jack. David.
Like, all right, well, now we know who our main characters are. Now we can move on. It's it's great writing. But yeah, we're introduced to the main characters, 2 hikers. It sounds like they're going on a European tour because they keep mentioning Italy and that they started in England. And so they're in northern England. It's foggy and rainy, and they're just on a walking tour. Really felt like a lot of this was ad-libbed. Like apparently in the trivia it talks about like when they turn and say goodbye to the sheep. Or wait, is it sheep or is it
Yeah,
chickens?
it's sheep.
Yeah, sheep.
It's sheep. Yeah, they turn and say goodbye to the sheep as the trucker leaves, which is a nice touch. And yeah, it feels very genuine, like a genuine friendship. Apparently, like they never met each other before this movie, so
That's surprising because they have really good chemistry. They just
they
seem
really
like 2
did.
bros.
yeah, and they're both unknown. David Naughton apparently was in the "I'm a Pepper, You're a Pepper" Dr. Pepper commercials, and that was his only real credit before this.
Wow.
Fun fact, after this movie he got fired from Dr. Pepper because he was naked.
Right, he was naked in this film, and that's not.
That would have been a great opportunity for him to be naked in a Dr. Pepper commercial.
With the Dr. Pepper can over his dick.
Yeah.
I mean, a doctor should be used to seeing people naked, to be honest. I mean, it's part of the job.
Yeah.
So they are hiking, and then they come across this pub called the Slaughtered Lamb, which has a none too subtle placard above with a wolf's decapitated head on a spike.
They go, where's the lamb? Which
is
funny.
great. And they go in, and it's the most unfriendly group of English people in the universe because they all just stop and stare.
Well, I really like that part because I've walked into my fair share of dirty, dangerous bars on my mission when I had to pee a lot. And this was just not the group I was expecting. They all just look like they would be very friendly. They're just not at this moment. I don't know. It doesn't feel very menacing to me.
I feel like in this, like in the context of where they are, like it's literally like a town with like 10 houses in it and like a pub. And so like they're probably like, why are there outsiders in our like small rural northern England town? So, and also with the lore of the town, like they do not welcome outsiders. But I appreciated it being like a bigger part of the film than I thought it was going to be, because I thought they were just going to be there, you know, get cast out and that was it. But no, like they do flashback to there when the doctor goes and stuff. And I'm glad that they were all like characters because, you know, that's where all this shit came from.
Yeah, it's a little weird because like at this point you don't really know what the movie's about, but they're in this creepy pub where everyone's kind of creeping at them, and then they see like a pentagram on the wall surrounded by burning candles, and so you're asking yourself like, these guys fucking Satanists? Like, did I walk into like a Satanist pub and we didn't know it? And they're just like, oh, those guys are Christian. We're like 2 seconds away from putting him on a spike. So you don't really know why they're being so standoffish, and really it's never actually explained. They're just kind of assholes, you know?
Well, I think it just has to do with how strong the werewolf lore is in this tiny town. Like, they all have bought into it 100%, and they know that no one's going to believe them, and so they are so like afraid of every little change because they know that there's a wolf man out there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a weird rationalization because it's like they're just shy. They don't want to be judged by their knowledge of werewolves. It's like, we can't tell them. They'll think we're crazy. It's like, okay. But you're okay with just like mean mugging them?
I know.
Like everyone that walks in the door? Like, all right.
They won't like us if they know we know about the wolf man.
And apparently it's this big secret, though. You know, they can't talk about the werewolf. Like, you know, first rule of the slaughtered lamb is you don't talk about the slaughtered lamb.
It's also interesting because, like, later on, jumping ahead, it's explained that, like, there are people in limbo that can't move on because, like, the wolf's bloodline has to be severed. And so it was kind of confusing because when the wolf originally attacks the two guys, like, the townspeople come and they shoot him. I just didn't expect the wolf to die so quickly, like the original wolf. So I was like, because they don't show you that he died. So I was like, oh, so like David is the only wolf. Like, I was like, oh, interesting.
No, they show you that the wolf died.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Maybe I was worried about my tooth.
It is
He's
a little
transformed
confusing
into a
because
man.
Yeah, they don't.
Oh, right.
They
right.
show a
Oops.
dead man on the ground that's shot.
Right.
Which I actually really liked. I think that's cool.
Yeah, yeah. It
Sorry.
talks about in the trivia that like a lot of the test audience didn't get that the naked man was the wolf because it didn't show any kind of transformation.
Yeah, I don't think you would understand that until the end of the movie where you're like, oh, okay.
I mean, I got it right away, but I watched it on Wednesday, so I had a lot of time to
Listen, my tooth
reflect
broke
on the
last
movie.
night. I had a lot going on.
Yeah,
okay?
I got it right away, Sydney. Like, I knew I was watching a werewolf movie, so I just like put two and two together.
Maybe I'm just the stupidest person ever.
Well, you
Maybe.
are a girl, so.
Cue the misogynistic comments.
So the only thing that they're told, basically, the only thing that the townspeople tell David and Jack is keep clear of the moors, stick to the roads. And the truck driver tells them this too. And then, of course,
Don't they also say beware the moon?
yeah, beware of the moon, or was it beware the moon or?
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, because this is a horror movie, they promptly trudge off into the moors.
I was like, the one thing, like, they literally immediately when they leave the pub, they immediately go into the moors. Like, they don't even try to like go on the street. They're like, we're gonna go try to find an inn, and then they don't.
Yeah, I bet there's an inn over on them moors over there.
Like, there are no buildings and there's no lights, so I don't know what you guys are doing.
I like how they're still just like joking around, even though they're like sloshing through this moor and like there's horrible howling sounds around them, and they're just like, this is kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking about how much fun they're gonna have in Italy, and like, what's his name? Not David, the other one. He was like, I need to fuck this girl in Italy, and David's like, you're not going to. Like, he's like, there's no way that you will, actually.
Now,
funny.
I know, obviously, but for the listeners, Max, could you define what a moor is?
Is it some sort of hilly, grassy area?
Close. It's a tract of open, uncultivated upland, a heath.
A heath.
a heath.
I just thought of it as fields, which is kind of the same thing.
What was it? David texted me and he found out, what was a word? There's this old archaic British word for like a quarter of an acre.
A quarter of an acre? Why would you need to know that? It's like not that much land.
A rood.
I am willing you a rood
that's not
of
what
my
it was.
property.
You can put a storage shed on it and a small garden.
Man, I can't remember what it was. I'll have to figure out. It's like an archaic word, but anyways, yeah, they're trudging through the moorland, and they of course get attacked by a giant wolf. They don't pull any punches on this attack. Like Jack is mauled awfully. Like it's really gory.
I thought it was hilarious when Jack is getting mauled and then David runs away with like not much fervor. He is just he's trotting away, and then he goes, "Oh, Jack," and then he runs back to him. He was like, "Oh shit, what am I doing? My friend is dying." Oh, he's just like,
yeah, I mean, honestly, that's a great friend, and also the worst decision he could have made.
No.
Mm-hmm.
I think if I'm on a walk, Max, and there's a grizzly bear that attacks you, and you're mauled on the ground and getting like torn open from stem to stern, I would run away. Like, I'm not saving you. I'm sorry.
I mean, that's fair, but first of all, I don't think that would happen to me. But okay, for the purpose of the story, that's fine.
You would be faster than me, so it's more likely that the bear would attack me.
I think I'm just built different. I think I could. I don't know how I would get out of that situation, but I would.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, if you did not drink your pre-workout, would you be able to handle it?
Oh, no, I would be dead.
Right. But with
I would
the
be dead
pre-workout,
so fast. Yeah.
Be like,
I'd be like,
come at me, bitch.
Yeah, I'm screaming in my head, by the way. I just am trying to stay calm.
How much caffeine is in a pre-workout?
Like 300 milligrams if you take a full scoop.
That's more than coffee, right?
Yeah, coffee's... Yeah,
it's like two Red Bulls.
I'm going to Google that right now.
Jeez. Yikes.
2 Red Bulls.
Yeah, because a Red Bull's 160. Or wait, is it 160 or 1... I don't know. Who cares? Anyways, yeah, it's a lot.
There is 95 milligrams in 1 cup of coffee. That is 3 times. That's insane.
Yeah, Max
like,
is going to be tweaking on this episode.
And you don't drink coffee?
I'm
you
literally
don't drink coffee?
tweaking.
Max doesn't drink coffee, but he'll willingly drink pre-workout to record an episode.
That's what
Sydney,
God told me to do.
It's different. It's different. Pre-workout isn't hot. It's not a hot drink.
What? Is that like
Can't drink hot
rule?
drinks. For a while, soup was lumped in, but we can drink
except
soup
for
now.
hot chocolate. You can drink hot
Are
chocolate.
you fucking serious?
They used to think it
save
gives you
for
throat
the
cancer.
Afterpod. We'll get into the ins and outs of the word of wisdom on the afterpod.
I mean, coffee
I actually
is not
have a lot
good
of things
for
I need
you,
to talk
but
about, so
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll have time.
Coffee is not good for you, but tea is so good for you. I have so many teas that like heal me.
Well, you can drink the ones that are good for you. Okay, we're spending too much time on this.
Okay. Ah!
All right, so they're attacked. David runs back to try to save Jack. Of course, that does not work. He promptly starts to get mauled by the werewolf, but then the townspeople save him by shooting the giant wolf and killing it. There's a brief shot where we see a naked man bleeding next to him, who's not Jack. And if you do the math, that's the man that's a werewolf, and he turned back into a man, Sydney.
Sorry.
And then David wakes up. This is, I think Horror Movie Talk's just going to be me roasting you two for no reason whatsoever.
I'm okay
Well,
with
I have
it.
noticed that the roasting is like ticking up a notch. I don't know where it's coming from, but
We're getting more comfortable with each other.
Yeah.
Yay.
I just need that validation.
I
can
just
you
realized
later
that,
text me some nice words so that I know that you still like me?
Well, what happens normally with David is he'll just blow up at me and tell me like he really doesn't like that and stop doing it. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll stop doing that because David is angry and he's angry at me. But you guys are too shy. You're not going to blow up at me, so I'll just beat you down like a bully.
I'm not too shy. I'm starved for positive attention, Bryce. I need to know that I'm doing okay.
As am I. And also starved for the oxygen, apparently, according to our comments. So he wakes up in a hospital 3 weeks later, which is a smart... I mean, here's the thing. He's not that hurt. I mean, that's like the thing is like he's only got superficial wounds, but for some reason he's been in a coma for 3 weeks. But it's literally just a device to be like... Now we just have to wait a week till the next full moon and not an entire month.
I mean, obviously, that's why they did that. But like, I kind of thought in like the reasoning of like werewolves and stuff, I was like, maybe he was just so wiped out from like his body is now transforming into like half of a werewolf. So like maybe it needed time to adjust. I don't know. I feel like it wasn't like the continuity error that like a lot of horror movies have, you know what I mean? But also it does set up the full moon, obviously.
Yeah, I think that the doctors probably assumed that it was like a trauma response. Like he was so traumatized by his friend dying that he went into a coma.
Which he was.
Right. Yes. I took it as he's now infected with the werewolf disease and that knocks you out for a little while.
I took it as that's very convenient to the plot. So anyways, he's in the hospital for a while. Like it's weird. Like even his scars are like healed. There's like they're visibly healed. They're not
like
even
fine.
bandaged. And for some reason,
Also, he doesn't even get ugly scars. He gets like hot scars.
I know. It's like nice. I thought he was cute.
Me too.
Did you know in Germany in the World War, like a ton of Germans had scars on their faces from dueling? Like that's why like all the villains in movies like have scars on their faces. So when there's a line in here where it says the doctor says he's got a dueling scar. It's because it's the cool scar. You got a scar on your face that's a slash. So
face scars
you won
are
a
hot.
knife fight or something.
Yeah.
I have a scar on my arm that looks like a waffle because one time I picked up a hot waffle iron. I don't know if you could see it you can't see it on the camera, but it looks like a waffle. The waffle pattern.
Nice. You weren't waking up for breakfast like Michael Scott in The Office?
No, that wasn't how it happened. My mom told me to clean the kitchen and I didn't know it was still hot.
Damn, I'm sorry.
Rookie mistake. So he's in this hospital for a while. We're introduced to a nurse.
Immediately when they introduced you to the nurse, I knew she was going to be the love interest because she was hot and she was like very present in the scene. And I was like, yeah, there's going to be something going on. And there was.
It feels a little out of the blue. There's not really much build up to it other than just like, oh, you're sitting next to me. We're going to exchange longing looks at each other. And it's like, yeah, that's enough. I love it. In the trivia, it talks about John Landis, who also wrote the movie, talks about how he wrote this when he was like a teenager. And that explains the sex scenes. You know,
so this is one of the horniest movies I have ever seen. Like, honestly, like there are movies that have a lot of sex in them, but they're not horny movies. You know what I mean? But this one is like, oh my God, like the whole, like there's a whole scene of them in like a porn theater. I don't know what you call them, but like that is like a very elongated scene. Like it is very sexually charged, which I like about the 80s movies. Like it's a fun like horror and sex go hand in hand to me. If there is a horror movie devoid of sex, it's missing something, in my opinion. Like, I
actually thought that movie they were watching at the theater was really funny because they, whoever wrote that part, like hats off to you. It's like, it was like just random stuff happening.
Right. Yeah. It's like using the tried and true horror porn tropes, but then subverting them. They're like, how could you? Like, who are you? I don't know who you are. Like,
he goes, oh, wrong room.
Yeah.
And then the phone call one where she's like, hello. Oh, you must have the wrong number. Then she's like, bow chicka wow wow.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's definitely, yeah. I mean, I think after watching Lisa Frankenstein, I just realized like, yeah, 80s movies have something special in them. Like
They do.
just that lightness and that like playfulness. And you realize like how serious movies are now because it's all
Oh, they're so
corporate
serious.
product. It's not, there's not a lot of like interesting voices. And then when like an interesting voice comes out, you're like, holy shit, like this is great. And then the corporations glom onto them and then just like suck the life out of them. See Taika Waititi.
Literally. Like I love What We Do in the Shadows, like the movie and then the series. Like I really do enjoy the series, but like, oh God, he's sold out very much.
Yeah. So anyways, he's in the hospital. The hospital before he leaves has one of the greatest lines in the movie, and it's actually apparently John Landis's favorite line too, which is the doctor talking to David after David talks about these horrible nightmares that he's having. And he's like, no, just remain sane, at least until you're not our responsibility. He's like, just remain sane long enough to leave the hospital because we don't want you here. Because honestly, there's no reason that he should be there. He's kind of more of a liability than anything to the hospital, probably.
Right.
We should talk about the nightmares. So he's in the hospital and like it jump cuts to all these bizarre dream sequences of him
Which are
running
fucking
naked
awesome.
in the woods. Yeah. And then like random things where like Nazi werewolves are attacking him and his friends. And then he wakes up and then the Nazi werewolves are still attacking the nurse. And you're like, shit, it's a great scene.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Like they killed his whole family in one of the dreams. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, I thought they were, this movie is just so good. It has everything that you would want out of a movie. This isn't in general, not even just a horror movie. Like it really
Nazi werewolves is something I never thought I'd see, but I have now.
I mean, Nazi zombies are they're in a lot of movies.
Oh, trust me, I know all about Nazi zombies.
We should do Dead Snow.
We
I don't know
should.
if you guys have seen that, but it's good.
I'm trying to find the, like one of the dream sequences. It has kind of this weird, it's a really iconic image. I'm trying to find it on IMDb, but I'm not going to be able to find it.
Was it the werewolf's face? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, he's in the hospital bed, but it's it's not quite a werewolf. It looks more like a zombie here.
Oh, yeah. And he's behind they open the curtain and then it shoots the nurse.
This one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just like,
It's like
it
a
just looks,
vampire kind of.
yeah, looks more like a vampire. So like, it's one of those images that you see in trivia all the time. We're like, what movie is this from? And it's like, would you assume this is from a werewolf movie? Because I always thought it was like a vampire movie.
It was scary too. But yeah, and then he's like about to get out of the hospital and the nurse is like, do you have anywhere to stay? And he's like, no. And then it flashes to them like going to her apartment together.
Yeah, you can tell this was written by a teenage boy. Like
Yeah.
Also
Horny
like
teenage
HIPAA
boy.
just things that
violation.
never happen in real life. Hey,
I don't
do you
think
have...
that you can like
Yeah,
I don't
you
think
definitely
can
can't do that. You for sure
I'm not
can't
sure
do
that
that.
you can do that. I
A
also
nurse?
loved when they got
I've watched plenty of movies that tell me that that's fine. You know?
I also think it's funny when they like get to her apartment and she starts like spilling her guts about her past and she's like, I've taken 7 lovers in my life and 3 of them were one night stands, and he's like, I really don't give a fuck, and just starts like fucking her. I'm like, let's go. Like he's like, doesn't matter. Like this does not matter. I don't care. Let's get in the shower. Like
Yeah, it's great. She's like, I'm gonna go take a shower. Cut to both of them naked in the shower. You're like, yep, this was written by a 13-year-old. This is perfect.
It's good though. I didn't see a problem with it. I thought it was great. It was a very long sex scene, but I really loved it.
It was long. It just kept going.
Did not stop.
So let's see. I think I have some of these out of order. So it goes back at some point. The doctor becomes a detective for some reason, and he's investigating this small town because, you know, he did hear David say that he was attacked by a wolf and he's going to turn into a werewolf. And he didn't seem that concerned about it, you know?
Mm-mm.
He's like, well, I'm a general doctor. Like, that sounds like a psychiatric disorder. So get the fuck out of the hospital, please. But he goes to this town and starts like investigating. And the one question I have is like, why are they so secretive about it? Like, what is like the reason that they can't talk about the werewolf and the lore of like the pentagram and like what's going on in the town?
They probably
I
just
love
don't
ho-
want to seem crazy or have like publicity in the town at all, you know? Like, I don't think that they want to like ruin their like special little hometown. Like, because then
Wouldn't you
there would be
rather
like
have
reporters.
the publicity and like have people come in and kill the werewolf that's ravaging your town?
I mean, they did kill the werewolf, so
killed
I
the
don't know
werewolf
why they're
already.
like so upset about it. I guess
Right.
because they let the Americans go, and the bartender woman, like the owner of the pub, like didn't want that to happen, and the men didn't give a fuck. So like now it's kind of all of their faults that this is happening. So I guess they just don't want to talk about it,
Yeah.
right?
I really enjoy the doctor becoming Matthew McConaughey from True Detective. Like, he is so like stone cold and like ruthless and like just, I'm too smart for all of these guys and I'm going to outsmart them with my wits. It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a weird thing. It's like, why would the doctor care? And like his explanation is like, well, I was in town, so I thought I'd check in. Which is nice. It's good 80s movie logic.
Yeah.
Because the police are portrayed as being just bumbling fools, basically.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like they had no idea what to do this entire movie. Like I really love the scene where David realizes that he's like actually a werewolf because like he doesn't remember when he turns into a werewolf, but then like he finds out that people like died. This is jumping ahead a little bit. And then he like finds a cop in a park and he's like, I killed all those people. And he's like, oh my God, like leave me alone. And he's like, no, the queen is a man. The prince is a faggot. Like, oh my God. I was like,
She can say that. She can say that.
I can't say that. I can say that. I can say that. I'm
YouTube
gay.
algorithm, don't.
I'm gay.
Half gay.
Stop.
I'm
Invalidating
not
my
gay no more.
sexuality.
I don't like men.
I'm just kidding. No,
I know
you're
you're kidding.
full gay and full straight.
Thank you.
Otherwise known as half and half.
Thank you so much. You're so good at the gay stuff. LGBTQ icon ally.
I am.
Max Allen.
I am a
Excuse me,
a professional.
LGBTQ AI plus, please.
Yeah,
Okay,
Sydney.
okay. I remember them and I hold them in my heart. Sometimes I just forget that the acronym
You
keeps
remember.
fucking changing every
My
year.
favorite is the plus.
I know, because there's so many gay. But yeah, it was a really good scene. And he's like, just arrest me. And the cop will not arrest him. So he's like, fuck, well, I'm just going to kill more people tonight. And then he does.
So yeah, I mean, we're about halfway into the movie and there's a lot of buildup and a lot of like him not being a werewolf and how they get through that is like having all the dream sequences, which is an interesting technique. But you're literally like sitting there and they're talking about how he's going to become a werewolf like for a good quarter of the movie. And you're like waiting for it. You're like, oh, it's going to be tonight. Like, when's it going to happen? And then it just cuts to him like going, ah! Like, it doesn't even have any lead up of him being like getting itchy or like getting like irritated. It just like cuts to him freaking the fuck out. And
Well,
then
it's so funny because he's sitting there reading a book. He's like,
yeah.
oh gosh, moving that much made me really itchy. Oh,
Oh,
Itch.
Jesus.
oh, it's my hands for some reason.
Scratch it.
Oh.
Scratch it.
Okay.
Max, the first step to recovery is admitting you have a problem.
I know I have a problem.
So this transformation scene, I mean, this is the part that deserves the most attention. The effects on this transformation sequence are amazing. And a couple of the things that they do, I mean, they have these mechanisms that like pop this larger spine out of the back and like fill up these balloons, and so it looks like his body is completely like distorting and changing inside like a skeletal structure. And then the hair growing is still like the best thing, so they filmed this latex skin or whatever, and they have all these hairs going through it, and then what they do is they pull the hairs through and then reverse that shot so it looks like the hairs are growing, which is
That's
great.
really cool.
And yeah, I mean, all of the like body
practical
changes,
effects.
like the body horror is like magnifique.
We kind of skipped over a part that I think is really important, which is his best friend who died by the werewolf.
Oh yeah, that's
comes to him as like this dead man and says, "Hey buddy, I'm going to need you to kill yourself so that I don't have to spend eternity in limbo."
He
and if you
tells
don't
him
kill
about
yourself,
the wolf's curse.
yeah, he's like, if you don't kill yourself, I'm going to suffer forever. So make your choice.
And it's
Which
also
is
funny
a
because
hope.
like the first time he sees him is when he's in the hospital, and he's like, yeah, a bunch of people came to my funeral, which was really cool. And David's like, yeah, you were well liked. And he's like, yeah. And then, you know, that girl that I was trying to fuck in Italy, she went to my funeral and she was so sad that she fell into like blah, blah, blah's bed. And he was like, no way, it was that guy. I thought that was like such a cute little like friendship like thing that it like really showed that like this guy is actually appearing to him. Like this isn't a dream. Like this is like a real thing that like David is experiencing. And so as he's more and more of a werewolf, like actually transforms and stuff, Jack starts like he's rotting. And so every time you see him, he's more and more of a rotting corpse, which was like so effective. Like I was like, oh my God, this is like disgusting. But it was also just like really funny that like every time he sees him, he's like, you gonna kill yourself yet? You gonna do it? You gonna please? Can you
He's like
can you
nice
please?
about it too. He's like, I mean,
No.
I don't want it to hurt. Like find a way that so it doesn't hurt,
Right.
but yeah, please kill yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the direction that John Landis gave him was he should always just be in a good mood and happy when he appears, which is a contrast to his appearance, because when he first appears in the hospital, he's just like freshly mauled and has like skin hanging off of his jowls that's been torn off, and it looks really cool. And then the next time he's on, he's like all green and decomposed. And then in the porno theater, he's like literally like a skeleton puppet. But yeah, I can't believe I didn't talk about that with in the hospital, but
It's a major part of the film, I think, because then you kind of just think that he's like appearing to him because he's his friend and he's stuck in limbo. But then once you get to the porno theater scene, it's like, oh no, all the people that you kill, they're all stuck in limbo, and then they all appear and they're like, hey, remember me? Like you should drown yourself, you should hang yourself, you should shoot
Right.
yourself with a gun, put it in your mouth, it'll be faster. It's like,
yeah.
wow.
And they're all very happy about it. Like they're very cheerful.
Oh,
about,
it's so good. Like that solidified it. Like it was already a good movie to me. I already loved it. But when we got to that scene, I was like, like people aren't doing it like this anymore. Like they really aren't. Like,
yeah.
It really seems like they're all very excited to move on from limbo. They've accepted their death and they're just like, yeah, as soon as you kill yourself, that would be awesome. Like that would just make everything even better. So do that, please.
Yeah. So the transformation happens. Like, I mean, do yourself a favor. If you've never watched it, like at least watch that on YouTube. And
it's incredible.
he goes out and goes on a killing spree. He kills like this British couple that are trying to surprise their friends. And then like he attacks this businessman he first like attacks 3 hobos, and then I believe that's the correct term. I don't know what the correct nomenclature
Isn't it
is.
like
That's right. He attacks 3 unhoused people and
vagabonds
and
the
then
non-housed?
the less housed people,
The street
And-
people?
And then finally he attacks this businessman in the London Underground, which is great. Like, my favorite part is like him running up the escalator and dropping his briefcase. I was like, oh no, all of his important papers. Like,
That was my favorite scene in the movie, besides the one of all the dead people talking to him in the porno theater, because I just thought it was so beautiful, like the chase that you don't really see David as the wolf a lot, but you see this guy scared for his life running. And when he's running up the stairs and you just see all the ad posters behind him, and it's like, oh, I thought that was just so beautiful. It was such a beautiful scene. And I was like, why is this guy falling? Like, get up, like run for your life. You're such a loser. Get up. You could run up the escalator, man. Like, you would get up there faster, and then you could get out into broad daylight, and then people would know what's happening. But I just love that. I mean, all horror movies do that, where they're like, someone's gonna fall and die. Like, that's just what happens.
If I was him, though,
use the not showing the monster very effectively. It does that in the scene where David and Jack are being attacked too, where it's really effective because it's just shots of them running out in the open in the darkness, and it's like strangely effective because they just hear this ominous growling in the distance and then close, and then they're like, where is it? And
not showing it during that part actually makes it way scarier, because the only time you see the wolf in the opening scene is when he's a man and he's lying dead naked, and like that image compared to the horrible howling sounds you hear and like the blood everywhere, like it you can put a picture together in your mind that's really scary.
Yeah, it doesn't show the full body. It does show the wolf attacking, though. It does show.
Oh,
like
right.
a
Yes,
head.
it does.
So anyways, he goes on this rampage, and then he wakes up naked in the zoo, in the wolf pen, which is great.
So good.
And
they only filmed that scene one time because he didn't want to get back in the pen with the wolves.
Do you blame him?
No.
Also, like in the trivia, it talks about how they're filming at the zoo, and he's like full on naked, and he's like, "Why are all these extras here?" And the director goes, "Oh no, we're going over time, so the zoo is actually open now. That's literally just the public."
Oh my god!
Isn't that illegal? How do you get around that?
He was covering up, he had his hands, so he was running around the zoo, and then he like it's a great scene. He's hiding in a bush and trying to lure a child over to him to steal his balloons. And then another one of my favorite lines is the kid like goes back to his mom, just says, "A naked American man stole my balloons." She's like, "What?" And then he runs off, and he like steals someone's coat, and like they put it together that he went on a killing spree, and he doesn't remember any of it, but feels the weight of it. And then later, he sees his friend as like a corpse again, luring him into this porno theater. The name of the porn, which I thought was great, was "See You Next Wednesday." And
one of my favorite lines of the movie, or might be my favorite line, is when he steals the coat and he's like waiting for the bus, and everyone's looking at him weird, and he goes, "Lots of weather we're having lately."
yeah, it's good.
But yeah, the porno theater scene is amazing. Like, it's really good. Before that, though, he goes to a phone booth and calls home, and his little sister answers, and he's like, "You're alone? I was never allowed to be alone at 10. Like, what the hell?" And it was like a classic like brother-sister thing. I thought that was really sweet. And he was just like, "Tell mom and dad that I love him, and I love you, and I love Max," I think was the name of the boy. And she was like, she must have said something like a little sister would say, and he was like, "No, I'm just saying I love you, you little creep." Like, and it was really sweet, and he just knew that he like had to die soon, and then he tries to slit his wrists, but he like couldn't do it. And then that's when
he's
he
using
gets
the
lured.
smallest, dullest blade he could
He's
find.
he's using a Swiss
long.
Army knife, which is awesome. It's like,
okay. And going this way wouldn't kill you, by the way. You gotta go that way.
Right. You gotta follow the tract.
Okay, let's not put out there information about how to effectively kill yourself.
I think people know that.
Not everybody. Obviously, he didn't know that.
Well, maybe John Landis didn't know that. But
Also, Bryce cannot be allowed any more information about that topic. We need to.
You're right. Bryce, don't. You didn't listen. You didn't hear that.
As if I haven't researched it.
Oh, God.
So yeah, his call, a little bit of trivia too, like his sister's name is Rachel, and he mentions her brother Max. So Max and Rachel are actually the name of John Landis's children. And I don't know if you recognize, but Max Landis is actually a director or creator, and also has been canceled already.
Yeah, I saw a tweet
and
about him
probably
the
one
other
of the
day.
most cringeworthy episodes of Red Letter Media was when Max Landis was a guest on it. It was.
Why
he's
is
very
he
much-
canceled? Do you guys know?
You know, he's just a sex pest.
It says,
you know?
why did Max Landis get canceled when you Google him? So he was.
Sex pest.
Oh, yeah. Accusations from several women, emotional and sexual abuse. Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Yep.
Oh.
So-
He's just being a guy.
It's really
You know?
easy to just not do that, in my opinion.
Just guys are guys, you know? It
Stop.
happens.
Just don't say shit like that. People are gonna come after us. He doesn't mean it.
Okay. So yeah, then we already talked about them brainstorming deaths, and then in the theater he transforms again to the werewolf. Like,
And I
much
think
less
some guy
elaborate.
thinks he's jerking off because when he's going, like transforming, like a guy walks up to him and is like staring at him like, and he's,
that part
and he's
was
like,
weird.
Get
I didn't
away
understand.
from me.
I didn't understand that part.
It's the craziest. All right, so we have to talk about porno theaters. Like,
Yeah,
this
tell me
is
about it.
such a weird concept. Like, it was before my time too, where
Yeah, they don't do it anymore, but they used to for a really long time.
yeah, there used to be just porno theater because there wasn't internet porn. Like, your options were you buy Playboy or a porn mag, or you go in person to a theater and watch a movie. And like, this is before like VHS too. So it's like, it's not like you had a lot of options. So it's like,
Like, are
man,
you literally like, you're like doing that in a theater? Like, you're literally like those poor
I don't think
workers.
you're allowed to jack off at the theater, though.
I bet people were though.
yeah,
I don't-
you're not,
well-
you're not supposed to. You can ask Pee Wee Herman about that, but people did it all the time. Like, it's like, yeah, it's a foregone conclusion. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. There was like
So
porn
weird.
hits. There was like Debbie Does Dallas and like Deep Throat were genuine. Like, people were going to see the movie in the theater because it's a
Isn't
popular
Debbie Does
porno.
Dallas like the most the most men a woman has ever slept with in 24 hours? I think she like beat a record.
No, I doubt that.
No?
Not in
Really?
not in the age of
Kelly
internet
says in the
pornography.
Midwest they still have those theaters.
No way.
That's wild. Well, I mean,
I didn't know
yeah, I
that.
wonder if they still even exist. Trucker stops. Yeah. Huh. It just seems so wild to me. Like, it's the same thing as like when I hear about like, oh yeah, guys actually have circle jerks when they're teenagers. I'm like,
No way.
there's guys
No
that
way, that
sit
doesn't
around
happen.
and
They do.
masturbate with their friends. I'm
They
like,
do.
what?
They do. And
Who
then
If you
are
have that
these-
kind of relationship with your friends,
Dude,
you're not
I would-
friends. You're gay.
No, you're gay. Like you are closeted and you don't know it. Like, I'm not even joking. Like that. I mean, maybe not all of them, but like, I mean, there is a time where like most people do explore their sexuality. That's how it comes out in certain guys, and then you probably end up gay. Like, I mean, you do like. I'm not even like trying to be funny. Like, I'm being dead serious. Like, that is like, I don't understand. Like, I have literally heard of like men in group chats at like my age that send pictures of their balls to each other. Like, is that something that straight men do? I don't understand.
Yeah, that
Well,
seems
I
actually like
mean-
a pretty straight thing. I'm not gonna lie.
Why?
I
Yeah,
mean, I've seen Bryce's a few times. It's not
Yeah,
that big of a deal.
sending pictures of balls is pretty great, actually. Like, I gotta admit, that's
What do you mean?
it's not to elicit like attraction or horniness. It's
It's
literally
actually
like,
to elicit the opposite.
yeah, it's like that's just a horrifying thing to send to your friend. You know, it's like if you took a picture of your asshole and sent it to like your friend group. because it's just violence.
I guess I don't
It's-
understand that.
No, you have a lot to learn about men, Sydney.
I guess so.
If it was a dick pic, if you're sending like full on erections to your bros, like, yeah, that's not.
Well, it depends.
Excuse me.
No, it
Go
depends.
Go on.
If I mean, some guys are just bad at taking pictures. Sometimes you just want to say, "Hey, what do you think about this one?"
I'm thinking about sending this to a stranger on Snapchat. Is this a good angle, bro?
Okay, listen. The guys especially need to hear this. Lighting is important. The angle is important. Lots of grooming. You can make it look great. Just
I don't think you need lots of grooming. I think that is a myth.
Well, okay.
But
I personally enjoy a little bit of groom.
Okay, this is where I feel old because I can't fathom sending a dick pic to anyone. Like I can't.
No, I can't
like,
either. I've been joking.
That's like the most horrifying. Like I need to save that horror for like the night where we consummate our love for the first time. Like, no, you love me. This is what you've gotten into, and it's too late. This is happening.
it's so funny because like
with my wife on our
yeah.
wedding night, and she's trapped. She can't leave anymore.
But like it's so funny because in high school and in college, like literally I would get a Snapchat from someone I haven't heard from in a while. I'd be like, oh, I wonder what this is. Oh, penis. Like what the hell do you think? Like, and you think of like unsolicited dick pics as being like this funny internet thing. No, it happens. I mean, it doesn't happen to me anymore. I've been in a relationship for almost a year and a half, and all of the dick pics
Now
I
they're just
receive are solicited.
Yeah.
But like, it's like I don't understand where you get the confidence to do that, and it's never like something you want to see. It's like the worst thing you've ever seen in your life, and so it's like,
I mean, it's
well,
such
if they
a
had better
contrast.
lighting, if they
Yeah,
had better
I mean-
lighting and a better angle and a little bit of groom.
yeah.
Well, first of all, Sydney, post your Snapchat. You'll get all of those.
I really am
and
not
more
going to do
you
that.
want.
Like,
And second of all, like it's really interesting the contrast between like how welcome seeing an erect penis is to anyone versus how welcome seeing boobs is to anyone. Like I would
even straight
welcome.
women want to see boobs. Even
Yeah.
gay men want to see boobs.
Yeah.
Like,
they're great.
yeah,
They're
they
beautiful.
are. They are.
Like in all shapes and sizes. Like I'll post my Snapchat. Listeners, send me your tit pics.
No,
I will not send you
don't.
my dick pic.
Bryce, you're gonna
Don't
get
do
yourself in
that.
trouble. You're gonna go down a dark path here.
Oh my God. No,
Next-
don't
next
send
thing you
any
know,
of
when
us
people-
nudes, please.
Next thing people know-
I've never seen anyone's breasts other than my wife's. Like,
No,
sure.
I'm just saying. The next thing you know, people are going to be typing in Bryce Hansen on Google, and the first thing that pops up is, why did Bryce Hansen get canceled? And it's because he was asking his listeners for nudes. Okay.
Well, see what's going to happen if I posted my Snapchat, which I don't even know I have anymore. I'm not even sure I could sign into it. If I posted that and said like, hey, send me tit pics, guarantee you I'd get 50 dick pics and not a
Probably.
single.
That's
dick
actually
pic.
facts.
That's
Yeah.
makes a lot
So,
of sense. Please don't send
anyways.
any of us anything that is
Yeah.
your naked body. We are all in relationships and all love our partners very much.
Right.
That's true.
Thank
It's
you.
okay. You can send me tit pics.
Stop! Enough!
I think we actually had a contest of like sending like cleavage pics or something like that.
I remember that. I do remember that.
And there was a good entry, I gotta say. And they put horror movie talk stickers over their nips. Like, thank you so much. But also there was men that send in them topless. More of the men sending in pictures of them topless, which we elicited as well. So, it's we're equal opportunity
Oh my God.
tits in this. Anyway, so yeah, he
starting to
transforms into
disassociate
a
again.
werewolf again, and then just
Where
the end
are
of the
we in the
movie
movie?
just is chaos. Like he attacks just the streets of London.
It's a
Yeah,
great scene.
This is what I said in the beginning when I like paused it was right when he had turned into a werewolf and it literally said like 18 minutes left and I was like, oh my God, like this movie's almost over. I feel like I just started watching it and I feel like I could, like, if anything could be a 3-hour movie, it would be this. Like, I would be happy with that. Like, it would be, but it also makes it really good that it's not, that it's like a 140 kind of thing.
I think it's
like,
perfect length.
It is.
It's
Yeah,
perfect how
it's
it is.
perfect. And it ends very suddenly. He's just like, oh, well, this is the rampage scene. And he's going on a
know.
rampage in downtown London. And then he's shot. And that's it. Like, end of movie, bye. Which is just a great thing because it doesn't overstay its welcome. Like these werewolf movies, there's not a lot to work with. It's literally like you want to see a werewolf transform into a werewolf, and then you want to see it kill some people, and that's all you want. There's not a lot more to work with there.
Yeah, I think if they wanted to go the emotional route, they could have had him kill himself like just before going on a rampage, which I think would have had an emotional impact on me, but this is great too. I mean, it is absolute chaos. It is truly like the evils of a small town being thrust upon a big city, and it's just no one knows what to do. They're all just being torn apart. Cars are coming out of nowhere and hitting people, and the way the wolf looks is perfect. It's so cool.
So amazing.
It's the best werewolf I've ever seen.
And I really do like the final scene. It does end very suddenly. I thought there might have been like a, I don't remember the term for what happens after the end of the movie, denouement or something. I might be wrong.
Denouement.
Denouement.
Maybe that's the beginning of a movie. I don't know. But yeah, it's just like the cops are all lined up to shoot. And then the nurse, what was her name?
Alex.
Tits
Alex,
McGee.
yes.
Alex, yes.
Alex like runs in between the cops and like knocks a bunch of them over, which I thought was so funny. And then she's like, David, come here, I love you. And when she says I love you, his wolf expression changes, like he really recognizes what's happening, and then he comes after her, and then that's when he gets shot, and then it's just the naked body of David on the ground. Boom, done. End of movie. Yeah. Good ending.
Well, here's the one thing I didn't understand is earlier on in the movie, he's talking with Alex and he says something along the lines of, I think a werewolf can only be killed by someone who loves them. And then to me, I thought that was going to be foreshadowing of, oh, she's going to have to kill him in the end. Yeah. But the police just kill him. So I thought that was kind of an odd thing to throw in there if they weren't going to pay off on it.
Well, maybe that's just leaving them open to a sequel.
And there is a sequel.
Yeah. I think it was in the 90s, American Werewolf in Paris.
Is it good? Has anyone seen it?
I don't know.
I think Kelly said it was good. Someone mentioned in the chat that it was good.
American Werewolf in Paris. It has a 5.1 on IMDb.
Okay.
So not great. Starring Tom Everett Scott.
It was decent, good music, she says.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Julie Delpy is in it. That's nice.
So yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, also like the werewolf design in this is a quadruped, which is a nice change of pace for werewolf movies.
Yes.
Normally they're bipedal, but yeah, the werewolf design is just more like a hell wolf, which is cool. All right, well, who would you recommend this to, or who do you think would like this movie?
Anyone. Like literally, if you don't even watch horror movies, like I think that this would be a good one because there are a couple of like jump scares. There are a couple of things where you don't know what's going on that like adds to the plot. Like I think that this movie is just incredible, and I think that everyone should watch it. Honestly, it's great.
Yeah, it's really good. I'd be hard pressed to find someone I wouldn't recommend it to. I wouldn't recommend it to my mom. That's about it.
My mom also hates horror movies, so probably wouldn't recommend it to her either. But I'm assuming she's seen it. But I don't know.
Yeah, it would be uncomfortable to watch with your mom with all the tits in it.
Yep.
True.
But if your mom's cool, go for it.
If your mom's rad.
Yeah, if your mom is Dr. Rad, the dentist.
But
All right, well, let's move on. This is going to be an experiment. I know we have 5 people in the audience who are our patrons, and this is something that we'll see if it works out well, and then maybe we'll open it up to a larger audience. Honestly, the thing I'm worried about mostly is just the stability of the recording.
right.
But new bit called Horror Movie Chat Lines.
In the dark, a flickering screen. Hearts racing, can you feel the scream? Whispers linger, secrets untold. Evil lurking as the story unfolds. Welcome to the night where fear ignites. Horror movie chat lines are in for a fight.
Horror Movie Chat Lines. We're in for a fright. Okay, so experiment. Everyone in the audience, yeah, what you do, Max, can you tell them what they're supposed to do?
There should be a button that says a request call in or something like that. Click that, and then we should be able to see your request.
Yeah, say you want to call in. It'll probably say something like, type out your question or whatever. We just want to talk to you. If you got a question, if you've got an observation about American Werewolf in London, it's talking about London, right?
No button on mobile, they say.
Okay, so if
Interesting.
you don't see the button, then just tell us that you want to come in.
Are we able to just poll people?
I don't know. Is everyone on mobile?
Oh no. I didn't expect this. No one wants to join.
I'm not surprised, to be honest.
Want me to go get my roommate or something?
Sure.
Yeah, we need to test this out. My house is noisy right now. Wife is on the treadmill. You should just
come
call
on.
anyways to
Just
make
call
sure
in.
it works.
Who
We
cares?
just want to make sure it works.
Just say hi.
We're desperate. Come on, Zach. This is riveting pod.
We
I'll tell you
will
what.
have to cut some of this out, I'm thinking.
What? Why? Yeah, I mean, it's nice having the chat in here while we're doing it.
It is nice.
We were hoping to do call
Kelly, just come on and say hi.
Yes, do that.
I should have told David to jump on.
Oh my
That would've been
God.
the
He's
smart
probably
thing to
watching
do.
this right now anyways. He's probably one of the people. David.
No, I have no button.
Oh, right. You said that. Sorry.
Are you sure? Check all around.
All right. Well, let's just consider this a failed experiment. And
It is
I'm
nice
so
having the audience,
disappointed.
though. I mean,
yeah, it is nice. I think we could probably do it for the wider audience and then see if there's probably a more of a likelihood that people will actually join, especially
James
if we
was in
like
here too.
publicize it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm on my Steam Deck and it gets angry. That's weird. I mean, I guess there's a lot of bugs in this. Sorry, guys. That stinks.
We will try again. We'll get this to work.
Do we want to wait? Zach, can you try again right now? Or
Yeah, definitely
everyone-
need someone on a computer.
yeah,
That's
we need someone on a
okay.
computer with a camera and a mic.
God
But-
damn. I mean, you don't really need a mic. You just need a camera because it doesn't matter what the quality would be.
Yeah.
Shit.
Well, this was Horror Movie Chat Line. Okay.
I would ask my
Um,
boyfriend, but he doesn't own a computer. So
He doesn't own a
Is
computer.
he
No.
an unhomed?
Is he
No.
unhoused?
no, he just he's a chef, so there's just he just doesn't need a
Just no
computer.
time for that internet stuff.
He just
He's always
doesn't-
cooking.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, neither him nor his roommate have computers. They have TVs and phones, but like
That's wild.
I know it is.
Not even a tablet?
No. He just vibes.
He's cooking too much.
He's cooking.
All right. Well, let's thank everyone for coming on the live and chatting with us.
Yeah, thank you. You guys seem to like it. I'm liking the feedback already. I appreciate you guys
Thank you,
for coming.
Zach. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, James. Did anyone else talk in the chat?
I don't think so, but thank you to everyone.
Thank you to those people and the other people who didn't chat but just hung out.
This was fun. Like I really enjoyed the commentary on the side, and we could play off of that. That was good.
We'll try it again in the future. Maybe give it a good promotion in Facebook, and we'll see how it goes. At the very least, the chat helps, and I think people would come on. I mean, you get early access to a full episode, and you can see all the blemishes and the scars of recording a live episode.
And also when we promote it to like the Facebook group or something, like we can say if you want to join, you need a computer with a webcam.
Yeah. And I mean, it's 8:30 Pacific, usually ends up being okay-ish for East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great time.
Want to thank our newest patrons, Charles F, JDM. Thanks for joining us on Patreon. It really helps us out. If you want to support the show, if you want to support us and keep us going, join that Patreon. Share the podcast with a friend. It really helps us out. And another thing that helps us in the charts and gains us visibility is if you leave us a review and a rating on Apple Podcasts specifically. But if you can leave a rating or review that's positive on any other platform, we appreciate that too. Apologize for my heavy breathing. Apologize for all the things that I said that weren't appropriate.
Never apologize.
We'll see you next time. On the flippy floppy. If you want to call us, leave a voicemail, 682-253-4468. We'll see you next time, everyone. There we go.
Good day, sir. Good day, sir. You lose. You get nothing. Is that a raincoat? Yes, it is.
Let's take a stroll through the scraggly woods.
He had no face.
Horror!
Wow, that didn't sound good.